We've had position definers before. There was Tarkenton in the 60s and 70s, but he'd always win a game with his arm long before he'd win it with his legs. There was Cunningham in the 80s and 90s, but he would beat you down with his athleticism, but eventually he evolved into the NFL's best passer, and that's not really what we're looking for. There was Steve Young, but he was a gimmick, so none of them compare to the guy we're about to talk about.
Welcome to the Michael Vick experience.
Ed, keep your hands and feet in the harness.
Please wait for the next available chair.
Do it. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah! Whoa! Whoa! Yeah!
Welcome to my ride. Before the fun starts, here's a few tips. Remember, push up in the pocket zone, 7 steps, right chin strap. Check your extra seat.
Urlacher and Brooks showing blitz. Vick takes the snap. Vick slides around the pocket. Pressure's coming. He's going to keep it. Streaks to the outside. Lowry here up on the safety. Vick's putting across the middle. Taking the 40. Gets away from trouble. Gets the block. Races into open field. Gets a foot race. Vick slices down to the 20. One man beat.
Well, that's not in the playbook, but it should be.
Michael Vick was a gimmick. Michael Vick was not going to work as an NFL quarterback. Michael Vick would never make the Falcons competitive. And yet, in just 2 games started as a rookie, Vick did this.
Midway through our first quarter, no score, and yes, Michael Vick debuts with a huddle coming from his own end zone. The most anticipated debut, perhaps since the days of Joe Namath from the shotgun. Pressure coming, he takes off. Jets for the first down, still on his feet at the 20.
Touchdown.
Outside with the block, Vick out of bounds. First and goal, Atlanta.
And now you know what all the excitement is about. This guy can make something out of nothing. Vick rolling to the left. He can run it in, and he does. Touchdown, Michael Vick. Offensive series. On the left-hander, elusive, tucks and runs. Watch out, 50, Vick at the 40, Vick at the 40, Vick lunges to the 21-yard line.
Don't blitz the guy. Keep him in the pocket, keep everybody else back.
To block the guy, it has to be better than that. Jailbreak.
Vick gets it around and out and takes off. Michael Vick out of bounds at the Ram 30.
Third down and 9 for Michael Vick and the Falcons.
There's what he does well.
Takes off, picks up the first down and more. Down to the 32-yard line.
This is why Mike
Vick
Vick
was
is
so electric as a rusher, in fact, that despite not qualifying for our projection system, he still makes the list with 289 rushing yards in just 2 starts as a rookie. To say Vick was a great rusher would be an understatement. It was clear even from the very earliest days that no one compared to this guy. No one else was even in his solar system. Before we get started, and before I show you this graph, I would like to preface it by saying that Michael Vick will eventually get here with over 6,000 career rushing yards, by far the most for a quarterback in NFL history. Look at Vick's numbers through just 2 years here. Keep in mind, at this point in 2002, he was competing against some of the all-time great rushing quarterbacks. Guys like Dante Culpepper, Donovan McNabb, and his very own cousin, Aaron Brooks. If you don't know, Brooks played for the Saints, the Falcons' most hated rival. And though the two grew up together, Vick and Brooks, they didn't let their relationship off the field impact their hatred for their rivals on the field.
This is Vick. He's going to run it all the way. Gets the corner. Did he get the end zone? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Falcons. He made it. He made it.
Falcons start out from their 46-yard line. A direct snap to Dunn. Back it goes to Vick on a ladder. Here's the flea flicker. Vick fires downfield. And a leaping catch made by running up to the 5. He's in. Touchdown. What a sensational play.
Four wide outs in the field. Vick looks short. Now he's on the run. He's got a man real deep. That's Gaylor. Can he get away from the coverage? He does. And Gaylor has it, and he'll walk in for the score.
Let him get that open at this stage of the game.
Minute and a half to go, and Michael Vick dancing around the pocket, and his pass is caught. Touchdown, Algie Crumpler.
This possession is Jarius Norwood handling things. Vick is back to throw, and being chased by Charles Green, runs and takes off. Looking good here. Here's Michael Vick inside the 20-yard line.
Into 2003, Vick continued being one of the most electric rushers in the NFL. So electric, in fact, that he found himself on the cover of Madden 04, where he was so broken with his combination of great passing stats and great rushing abilities that the EA team, the team behind Madden, considers him one of their top 25 features all time. Not characters, not game modes, features. All of this just because of how fun Vick was to watch on Sundays. He was exponentially better than any other mobile quarterback in history, having rushed for 2,820 yards in his first 5 years in the NFL. Let's take a look back at that chart for a second, just to show you how Vick stacks up against the careers of these other guys. There was Tarkenton, the OG scrambler. There was Cunningham, the first guy who'd really beat you down with his athleticism and the first 900-yard rusher at the quarterback position in the NFL. And there was Steve Young, the gimmick. And now let's take a look at Vick's line through just 5 years. But nothing would compare to his 2006 season. How crazy was it? Let's chart it game by game. $1,039 rushing yards in 16 games. As of the day that I'm recording this, that's only been done by one other quarterback, and believe me, we'll get to him later. There's no words to describe how electric this season was by Vick. Even the Falcons had gone out and hired all-time great loyalty supporter Bobby Petrino to be their next offensive-minded genius at head coach. The Falcons were going to go to another Super Bowl. But you all know that's not how this story goes.
Who months ago was throwing for touchdowns as the star quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, now has thrown himself before the mercy of a federal court, admitting in court papers to dogfighting. The one-count plea to be entered by Vick in Richmond, Virginia, Monday, charges Vick with conspiracy, a charge that could bring as much as a 5-year prison term. Responding to a possible plea deal earlier this week, one of Vick's defense attorneys indicated the agile quarterback couldn't run from his past.
Look, you can believe what you want about Vick. You can believe that he didn't deserve his second shot in the NFL with Philadelphia. You can believe that he should have been jailed for life. But the fact of the matter is, he turned himself in. He served his time. And since getting out, he's done nothing but show commitment to repenting and atoning for his problematic past. I've chosen to forgive Vick, but that doesn't mean you have to. Without Vick, the NFL as a product simply didn't feel the same. Guys like McNair, McNabb, Culpepper, and Brooks just couldn't pick up the slack that the only 1,000-yard rusher in NFL history had provided. And even more heartbreaking for Vick personally was this on April 26, 2008.
The last quarterback selected by the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Vick, in the first round in 01.
With the third pick in the 2008 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Matt Ryan, quarterback.
When Vick heard the news the next day, he reportedly broke down in tears. Perhaps predictably, none of the others, including Matt Ryan, even came close to comparing to what Vick was like. Vick would get a second chance in the NFL with Philadelphia. He sat behind Donovan McNabb, one of his rushing quarterback counterparts on the Philadelphia Eagles. But in 2009, it didn't look like that would amount to much. He started in just one game, appeared in 12, but he only ran for 95 yards. Not even enough to appear on our projection system. But in 2010, it looked like Vick had turned back the clock.
In the first half, don't forget. Saw him warming up before the start of this half as B.J. Raji can't bring down Michael Vick. It's what Vick does. Michael Vick, an electric start to this second half.
Vick in trouble. Vintage. Looking house. There it is. Touchdown, Eagles.
Going into a long count. It is 3rd and 10. Vick straight back. He takes it on a quarterback draw. Runs to his right to the 45, to the 50, and he runs out of bounds at the Indianapolis 43. There are very few quarterbacks who can run like that.
Here comes Mathis again. Vick feels it. Runs out of it. Open field at the 30. But they give him chase. And Vick is down at the 17 in the red zone.
First play from about the 12, and there is Vick, as you talked about, John, rolling and launching downfield for Deshaun Jackson, who accelerates from the opening play and all the way for a touchdown. 88 yards. That field empty. First and goal, Vick. Dancing, running, in for the touchdown. To give Vick room to run. And score again. Michael Vick, second rushing touchdown tonight from 6 yards. Unbelievable.
Looks like a man with poise when he gets outside that pocket.
Tenick sets up for protection in the backfield. They send him into the pattern, and Vick follows him into the end zone.
While he was nowhere near the heights of his 2006 season, Vick was still more than proficient as a rusher, running for over 500 yards and taking the Eagles' offense to new heights. But it didn't seem to matter. Vick won Comeback Player of the Year, and the Philly faithful were still hopeful that he would be able to do even better in 2011. But for the other 31 teams, there was a new threat. A particular Auburn quarterback who just won the Heisman Trophy and the College Football National Championship. You know him. You love him. It's time for Super Camp.